Okay, so now we are going to try to run the Corsego application. Here we are on the repository on GitHub. If you have access to it, then you'll be able to see it. So here it is, Corsego. Here is the source code, and here is the README. So here we have the entity relationship diagram of all the models and how they are related between one another. And let's go to the installation requirements. So we'll need Ruby, Rails, PostgreSQL, and Yarn. And we'll need some connected services like Google reCAPTCHA, AWS, Google OmniAuth. Okay, so now we're going to install it. First, of course, we'll need to create a new environment. So I'm going to do it in AWS Cloud9, and you can do it in whatever suits you. So I'm typing create a new environment. I'll name it Corsego, July 20. Okay, next step. Here I select Ubuntu server. Next step, create environment. And initializing a new environment in Cloud9 can take some time, so we'll wait a bit. In the meantime, let's see, we'll need to do what? We'll need to install Ruby on Rails. Now I need to change the README a bit so that it looks better. Let's wait. Now here we have installed AWS. So let's configure our environment a bit. I'll move the terminal up. We'll remove this bottom panel. I'll go to settings. Here I'll make 2 tabs by default. I can also go down and remove PHP support, Python support, Go support. We're not going to use them. We're going to use Ruby on Rails. Okay. Now we can go to see our file, whatever. Okay, anyway, now we're going to clone this repository. So we're going to type git clone. Now, at the moment, this is a private repository, so you'll need to put in your GitHub credentials to be able to do it. So I'll type my credentials, login, password, and you see it is cloning. You see, Corsego, we've cloned everything, so we have all the source code here. Now we can navigate to this repository, so we type cd Corsego. And you see we need to install Ruby. And we need to install the new version of Rails. So we'll go to environment, let's type Rails version. It is 5, and Ruby version, it is 6.3, 2.6.3. So you see, we need to update them. And to do it, we can go to our README. And here I have a short description of how to do it. So I'm going to type rvm install Ruby 271, and we'll install a new version of Ruby. Next, we are going to tell the application to use 271, not 263. And we are going to remove the 263 version, like this. Now we can type rvm list, and we see we have Ruby 2.7.1 installed. Now we need to install the newer version of Rails. So installing Rails can take quite a while, and it requires a lot of different gems and dependencies. So I'll pause the video for now. Okay, so we've installed Rails. Now we can type Ruby version, Rails version. Good. Now we're going to install Yarn, and we're going to install PostgreSQL. So here's one command. Here's another. Now we type sudo apt update. And now we're going to run the command to install PostgreSQL, Redis, Yarn, and all the stuff. Okay, we need to install 30 megabytes. We type vi, enter. It will take some time. And next, we're going to set up PostgreSQL for our application. Why should we install it? Well, because it won't let us do the migrations if we don't set it up correctly. Okay, so we'll type, let's see, cd Corsego, and well, let's try not to install PostgreSQL like this. Let's try to run bundle. That's the natural thing you must do whenever you clone any Ruby on Rails repository to install the missing gem file dependencies. So here we can go to the gem file. We see we have a lot of different gems used, except for the ones that are by default. So here are mostly the default ones, and here are the ones that we added ourselves. Okay, so it took some time, and we've bundled our application. You see, it says that we need to install GraphViz. Well, basically, this GraphViz library is needed to run the Rails ERD gem. So here it is. You see, we have this gem only in development, and to install this GraphViz, we need to run sudo apt-get install GraphViz. And it's basically a gem that helps us create entity relationship diagrams like this one. So at any time, you can run the command to create a diagram, and it would create some kind of such diagram based on your schema. Okay, so going back, let's see. We've run bundle. Now we're going to run yarn. So the command yarn is going to install all the packages, all the webpack packages that we need to run the application. So here we have package.json with a list of all the packages that we have. And now we're installing Bootstrap, Chart.js, Cocoon, jQuery, Selectize, Tricks, TurboLinks. Okay, so you see it is running. And you see here is the command to install this GraphViz, and here is a command to install ImageMagick so that the images are properly displayed in our application when we use action text. Okay, we've run yarn. Now let's try to create a database. So rake db create. And you see here we have this problem. Now the problem is that we don't have credentials set. So let's see. We need to have the credentials set. Here's an example of how credentials can look. Now, of course, these are not the real keys, and you'll need to register your application in the AWS S3, storage in Google Analytics, for Captcha, Google OAuth, GitHub, Stripe, and Facebook to have all the APIs working correctly. So for now, we can go to the Vim editor and run this command. Once again. Okay, couldn't decrypt. Well, because now we have my credentials key that is encrypted and a newly created master key. And you will need to create a master key for your credentials. So I'm deleting the credentials file, I'm deleting the master key. And once again, I'm going to run the command editor vim rails credentials edit. And you see it created a new master key and created a new credentials file. And here we have this file open. Now let's go to our README. And here we can run this command set paste. So I'll just copy it. I will Control V. You see, we have it on the bottom. Now I press enter. And now I'm just going to copy all this code and paste it. Okay, you see, we've pasted it. Now here we have some minor bugs. Now I press I. Okay, AWS S3. So we've pasted all these secret credentials into our application. Now I press escape, the sign, WQ, enter to exit with saving. Now I can run credentials once again. You see, everything has saved. Again, escape, WQ, enter. Okay, now let's try running the migrations once again. So, rakedb create. Okay, and couldn't create database because role ubuntu doesn't exist. So now we're going to actually have to set up PostgreSQL. I'm typing sudo su Postgres. So we're using Postgres. I'm creating user interactive. Role will be Ubuntu, by, exit. Okay. Now we run rakedb migrate once again. Rakedb create for the beginning. And you see, finally, we managed to create a database. Now we type rakedb migrate. And we're running the migrations. Looks good. Now we can try to start the server. Rails server. And we will preview our applications. So we're going to preview running application. We have a blocked host. So we'll need to put this URL in our development environment. I'm switching the server off, going to config, environments, development RB, and we'll need to have this URL there, the one from the preview. So you see we have EU Central 1, and we have this unique code for our unique environment. So in development RB, I need to see that I have EU Central 1, and here I'm going to put this unique code. So this code, I copy it, I paste it here, and here for the mailer. Now we try to run the server once again. Okay, I start the application. Now it can take some time because you see we are compiling, so all the packages, all the JavaScript packages and other packages for the application are being added in the meantime. So when adding a new package or when starting the application for the first time, it can take quite a while to compile correctly. And you see it has worked. Okay, so we are running the application. Now let's try to register. I'll try to register now. Okay, I'll go back, admin, password, sign up. Now it gives us a problem in users registrations create, and it kind of says that we don't have random courses. So this basically is an error that happens only if we don't have any courses in our application. We will not have this error in a real production environment. So the real problem is that we don't check reCAPTCHA in registrations controller, you see right here. So we can either add a real key for reCAPTCHA, or we can disable reCAPTCHA for development purposes. So I'm going to app, controllers, users, registrations controller. And here I will comment this out. So we'll not check reCAPTCHA. And now once again, I'll go to the home page. Okay, and I'll register. Sign up. And you see we have signed up and the message with the confirmation link was sent. So we need to find it in our console. Okay, you can confirm your account like this, open. You have confirmed. Now we type in our email, our password, and it works. We have logged in. And the first user that signs up gets the admin privileges. So he has access to the admin panel. You can see all the users and so on. So basically, you're now running the application and you can do whatever you want. That's it.